Guys, welcome back to the channel. We'll do a rifle cartridge review today on the 300 Winchester Magnum. Stay tuned. How can I describe the 300 Winchester Magnum? 308 drops a hammer, the 300 Win Mag drops a sledgehammer. If a 30-06 has plenty of power, 300 Win Mag is a 30-06 plus P. It's Winchester's Big Daddy 30 cal, made to compete against things like the 7mm Remington Magnum, which was a big hit at the time. In 1963, Winchester took their 338 Win Mag, necked it down to 30 caliber, lengthened the case slightly, pushed the shoulder forward slightly, and came out with an unbelievable round. So like I said, the 300 Win Mag comes from the 338 Win Mag, but ultimately its line traces back to the 300 H&H and then the 375 H&H. In the late 50s and early 60s, Winchester was coming out with these Magnum cartridges based on that 375 H&H case. Well, then Remington in 1962 came out with a famous rifle, the model 700 Remington, and a new cartridge, which was the 7mm Remington Magnum. And that cartridge had tremendous success, in so much that the 264 Win Mag from Winchester really suffered in sales. So to match this juggernaut, this 7mm Win Mag's popularity, Winchester released the 300 Winchester Magnum. Initially, it wasn't quite as popular as the 7 Mag, but in all honesty, it's never slowed down and has continued steadily to gain popularity even until this day. It has a pressure rating of about 64,000 psi. It's going to hold somewhere in the vicinity of 90 grains of powder capacity, and it truly exemplifies the word Magnum. The 30-06 has been popular all over the world. Very versatile cartridge, very successful cartridge. When it comes to hunting, it's basically taken every animal in the world. And pretty much everything the 30-06 can do, the 300 Win Mag can do better as far as velocity and energy. The 30-06 might have the edge on barrel life. Its barrel life is around 2,000 to 3,000, with the estimated barrel life of the 300 Winchester Magnum at around 1,000 to 1,200. And of course there's a trade-off. With that extra power, energy, and velocity of the 300 Win Mag, it will have more recoil. So a 30-06 would have less recoil. But if you like the 30-06 for hunting and you wish you had more power, the 300 Win Mag is your ticket. The 300 Winchester Magnum has seen military adoption in sniper applications. Several police forces across the country have also used it, once again in more of a sniper type of a role. And in the hands of a competent gunsmith in a custom rifle, it has done pretty good in competition shooting as well. It's interesting the approach that Winchester took by pushing the shoulder forward, shortening the neck, and making the overall case slightly longer. They basically used every millimeter of capacity possible in a standard or long action for powder capacity to give as much oomph to that 300 Win Mag as possible. It was made for speed. But of course, with a 1 in 10 twist in a 30 caliber, it's very versatile. 110 to 220 grain bullets without any issues. I watch a lot of hunting videos on YouTube or hunting channels. I read articles about hunting, and I would say in the last 2 years, the most common cartridge that I've ever read about being used or watched being used was a 300 Win Mag. Over and over and over again on these hunting videos, when the person finally tells the cartridge that they're using, it's a 300 Win Mag. You watch videos about the best cartridges for the Western United States or Alaska or Canada, 300 Win Mag is always mentioned, and many times tops those lists. Recently I've watched videos where they ask many PHs in Africa, what should a customer bring over here when they come to hunt. And there are many options listed, including the 30-06, but it seems like the number one is the 300 Winchester Magnum. When it comes to medium and especially big game in North America and Africa, I would say it is the number one hunting cartridge, with cartridges like the 7 Rem Mag and the 30-06 pretty close behind it. Let's take a look at some of the numbers in published reloading manuals. 300 Winchester Magnum is going to shoot a 150 grain bullet around 3420, and a 308 is going to shoot it around 3000. So you're going to get 400 more feet per second with the same bullet out of a 300 Win Mag. Your 300 Win Mag with 180 grain bullet is going to max out around 31.5, versus your 30-06 with the same bullet is going to max out around 28.19. So between 2 and 250 feet per second faster out of the Win Mag. What about the 7 Rem Mag? With 168 grain bullet, you're going to top out around 30.47. With the same grain bullet out of a 300 mag, you're going to top out around 32.90. Once again, about 200, maybe a little bit more feet per second faster. So that was 2 different calibers, but the same bullet weight. Let's try to find a bullet that has the same BC. So this Accubon long range in the 7 mag with a BC of 616, and in the 190 grain 30 caliber class, the same bullet, Accubon long range, 597. Not exactly the same, but pretty close. 300 Win Mag is going to top out around 3064, and the 7 Rem Mag is going to be about 3047. So very similar velocity when the BC is the same. The heavier 30 caliber bullet will have more energy to begin with. That is an advantage, but there'll be a little bit less recoil with the 7 mag. All right, so you see the 300 Win Mag is definitely a sledgehammer of a cartridge. It will do the job, and it'll do it fast and powerfully. If you're looking for a 30 caliber that's more efficient, that is less recoil, the 300 Win Mag might not be the caliber for you. But if you're looking for a great all-around hunting cartridge with plenty of power to give you plenty of distance, this is the cartridge for you. Most rifles in a 300 Win Mag will be 26 inches, occasionally 24. But that 26-inch barrel I would consider to be optimum because of the large well of case capacity being used. You need that longer barrel to get the most velocity and potential out of the cartridge. Something like a 30-06 is more ideal around 24 inches. Something like a 308 is more ideal around 22 inches. But you're definitely sacrificing a lot of velocity. If you're looking for a lightweight rifle with a shorter barrel, the 300 Win Mag might not be the ideal choice, but it wouldn't be a bad choice. If you understand the potential and what makes this cartridge so good, you're probably going to want it in just a normal weight, around 8-pound rifle with a 26-inch barrel to get the optimum performance. The 300 Win Mag is very popular, common, and available throughout the world, making it a great cartridge and rifle to choose if you were only to have one or just a few chamberings. Because any place you go to hunt, you're easily going to be able to find ammunition for it. And it's popular and available for a reason, because it's a very good cartridge. If you want a 30 caliber Magnum in a standard length action, you're not going to do any better than the 300 Winchester Magnum. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please comment below. Tell me your experience with the 300 Win Mag, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Hope you have a great day, and until next time, take care.